Hi everyone, please don't forget to subscribe, like and share my channel. That will motivate me to create more such videos. So welcome everyone, and in my last video I have discussed how do we modify WinAFL to add a new feature, that is shared memory mode. And in this video I'm going to talk about another topic, which is how can we fuzz network applications using EFL. So this video is primarily based on Linux. We'll be covering something called Preeny, which we'll be using to fuzz network based application. And for this video what I have done is that I have modified our damn vulnerable C program. This is the program which we have been fuzzing in last few videos. Mostly we've been using that program. So I wanted to keep it simple. So what I have done is that I have modified our damn vulnerable C program to use a network socket. Basically it will act as a server, and then a client need to connect to our damn vulnerable C program, and it need to send some data. So first what I'm going to do is that I will explain you how I have changed our imagery.damn vulnerable C program to use network sockets, and how can we connect to that using a simple file, and then we will see how can we fuzz that using EFL. So if you remember EFL first command, this is the simple command over here. Like we have to use EFL fuzz, that is the executable name, -i input directory name, -o output directory name, -m none. This is because if we are using asn or any other sanitizer, it will require huge memory, so we just want to avoid the memory limit over here, otherwise EFL will complain about that. And --dot/img read underscore EFL @@. So this @@, what EFL will do is that at the runtime it replaces this @@ symbol with .cur underscore input file. So that is the file which contains all our mutated data, and this file will be fed as a input to our first program, and then EFL will monitor it for any crashes or hangs. If it finds any crash, it will save it in the crash folder. If it finds any hangs, or if it finds any new path, it will probably save it in the queue or hangs folder. So but since our program expect only socket connection, then we will not be able to use this @@ symbol, and in that case we need to use some hacks. So we'll be talking about that later on. First let me explain what are the changes which I have made to our program so that it can use sockets. Okay, so here is our img read underscore socket.c program. I actually added some simple socket code from internet over here. I have taken it from this site, that is gigs4gigs.org, and the changes I have made over here is that I have added one function that is called setup server, and this function is actually responsible for creating one socket, listening to that, and if any client connects, it will basically read the data from there. So these are the standard parameter standard code. You will see I have taken one server underscore ft as a integer variable, new sockets, and well read. Actually this well read is the number of bytes which will be reading from the network when a client connects. I can actually rename it, but I'm just keeping it like that. Then there is some socket address structure, which is actually, we call it as an address, and there is address length, there is a buffer. So this is the buffer which will hold all the data which we read from the network. And here's a simple function call, that is it will create a socket file descriptor over here. Like it will call socket afinet, which is the socket type over here, sock stream, and it will check if a socket is successfully created or not. Then it will bind it to the port, that is 31337. So I need to correct this comment, 31337, that is fine. It will set up some socket options over here, and then here is the port, that is 31337. We will bind it using bind call, and then it will listen on this particular port. So and then it will wait for the connection. So as soon as a client connects, what it will do is that it will read the data over here, and then it will read the data in the buffer, which is of size 1024 bytes, and then it will return the number of bytes which it has read in valread variable. So and then it will call our process image function. So if you have followed my older videos, if you have followed my libfuzzer videos, how do we fuzz a DAM vulnerable C program using libfuzzer, then the rest of the thing over here will be similar to that. So this process image function, it will take two parameter. I have changed it. Previously it used to take one file name as a parameter, then it used to open that file, it used to read the data. But since in this case we are reading the data from socket, what it will do is that it will read the data from the socket, network socket. It will copy that data into the buffer, and then it will pass this buffer as a parameter to process image function, and then it will pass the number of bytes. So basically this valread is the size of the buffer. So inside the process image function, if we go, you will notice that there is a simple check. I'm just checking if the buffer or the data which we have passed is less than 12, then we'll simply return, because in that case it will not contain much of the data. It will contain initial few headers, and it will actually cause some unnecessary crash. So we don't want to use that. We will simply avoid it. Basically you need to give the structure, if you see it over here, there is a image structure over here, right? So I want to make sure that at least the data which is we are getting from the network at least contains header and width and height. So that actually makes it 12 bytes. Otherwise we should, if you want to even enforce that it contains the data as well, which is of 10 bytes, then we can add a check for 22 bytes over here. So that is why I have used size less than is equal to 12. So it will make sure that we at least have header and width and height over here. And then what we are doing is that we are using one structure image pointer. It is the same structure pointer which is of type image over here, like this, and then we will point the structure pointer to our buffer. So basically we are doing a typecasting so that our buffer data will be converted to structure image pointer over here, and then the rest of the thing are similar to our last program. It basically print all the header, it will print their values. Only change I have made over here is that since we are using a pointer over here, so I have converted it instead of dot, I have used this arrow thing so that it can access the data from the pointer over here. So we are accessing image header, image width, image height, and image data over here. And yeah, so everywhere where we are using dot previously, because we are directly using structure, I will change it to this arrow symbol, so which means that we are accessing some pointer variable over here. And rest of the program is same over here. You can see it is image, but there is a integer overflow, integer underflow, and heap buffer overflow, divide by 0, out of bound read, write. So rest everything is similar, and inside the main I am simply calling the setup server function, which will call process image function. So this is the change I have made, and I have already uploaded this on my GitHub. So you can go to GitHub URL, you can simply search DAM vulnerable C program, and you can download this program if you want to play along. And that is the change I have made. And now we can actually compile that using our standard AFL GCC command. We can even use AFL CLang, or we can use AFL CLang fast, but just to keep this thing simple, I'm using AFL GCC. And here the command is AFL-GCC imgread underscore socket.c. This is the source file name. Then -f sanitize is equal to address undefined. So we are actually enabling address sanitizer and undefined sanitizer over here. Then we are passing GDB, which means that we want to generate some debug symbol as well. We are disabling optimization -o, that is our output file, and that is imgread underscore socket. And LP thread is actually not required because previously I was trying with something else. So let's see if it compiles. Okay, there is some error over here. So it is at line 102. Okay, so I have corrected that error, and Let's compile that. And yeah, so we have compiled our program, and what we can do is that we can simply try running that and see what will happen here. So okay, so it has opened one socket, and now we actually need to send some data. So for this we will use netcat. We will simply use this command, that is nc localhost 31337. This is the port, and let's type some data. So I have created one file, that is sock.txt, and we will simply send this file over here. Okay, to go to the directory, and now it should work. Okay, so you can see that I have simply sent one data, and I will show you what this data contains. So this file actually contains a simple string which is, hi, this is a test /r/n to check the socket. And when we send this data to our socket, what it will do is that it will treat this first 4 byte as a header. So hi space t will be the header, and then rest of the 4 bytes it will take as a width, and then it will take as a height, and this will actually become a very large number over here. And since we are converting character to integer, right, it will not be able to store it inside an integer variable, which is, I think, a signed integer, and it will allocate the memory. But since we have compiled our program with address sanitizer, what it will do is that it will crash, because it will not allow to allocate this much amount of memory. That's why our program is crashing over here. So I have kept this program very simple. As soon as it receives one data packet, it will basically call our process image function, and if the data is malformed, it will simply crash. Now the thing you will notice over here is that we run this program without passing any parameter, because it expects the input from a socket. So if you want to fuzz it using AFL, what you can do, because AFL doesn't offer you the offer to fuzz program which are using socket. You cannot send the data using AFL to a socket. So we need some kind of hack, and for that there is a very interesting tool we can use. It is actually a lib, so that is called Preeny. And what you can do over here is that you can actually download, you can go to github.com zardos I think zardos /preeny, and you need to zip clone that. So what you can do, just copy the URL and simply clone that git repo. So let me do that right now. Git clone. We will do. My system has become slow because I'm capturing some video over here. Anyway, so I already downloaded Preeny on my system, so that's why it is giving this message. And so let's go inside Preeny directory and see what does it contains. So it contains a lot of folder and files. Let's go to source. And okay, so it actually contains a lot of utility. Basically, if you play CTFs, then it contains a lot of utility for that. You can use LD preload command over here. You can load these libraries, and they will do rest of the work for you. So you don't need to do much thing over here. You only need to compile and just need to give the path using LD preload. So you will notice that it contains a lot of options, but lot of actually libraries, but we are only going to use dsoc_dup.c. So yeah, so we can use dsoc_dup library over here. You simply need to compile that by going to the Preeny directory, and you can, I think, simply type make. Let's try with that. Okay, it is working. So just git clone Preeny and go to Preeny directory and type make. It will configure and make it for you. You also need to install 2 libraries if you have not already installed. So I will just explain what are those. So you need to install lib ini-config-dev library first, and you also need to install libseccomp-dev library. If you have not installed, then please go and install it using sudo apt install libini-config.dev or libseccomp-dev. This will basically install all the dependencies for Prini, and once the compilation is successful, it's very simple, it's very straightforward. You can simply load the library and it will do rest of the work for you. So you can see that our compilation has been successful, and you will notice that there is a new folder, that is x86 _64-linux GNU. So this is where all the compiled binary will be present. Let's go and check it out. So you will see it contains all the libraries over here, and yeah, so we can see it contains dsoc-dup and dsoc.so as well. So yeah, we can go ahead and fuzz that. So to fuzz it with AFL now, you can use AFL preload command. Okay, there was some issue with the way I have compiled my program, so I need to use this flag, that is asn_option is equal to verify_asn_link_order is equal to false. Otherwise it will complain that asn doesn't come as first library. So just to avoid that, I have used this option. And about on error is 1, symbolize is equal to 0, and then I'm using AFL _preload. So this will actually load our Prini module over here, and I'm using Prini x84-64 Linux GNU dsoc_dup.so. So just remember the name. There are two files. One is dsoc.so and second one is dsoc_dup.so. So in this case, we need to use dsoc_dup.so because other file dsoc.so was not working in my case, so I have used this. And then your normal AFL command, that is AFL-first-i input directory, which contains input corpus, -o where you want to save all the output files, crashes, hangs, etc. -m is equal to -m none. So since we have compiled it using asn, we'll not give any memory limit over here. //imgread_socket. So that's it. In this case, we don't need to give @ over here because our program will take this from the socket, and in this case we are using Prini, so it will take care of everything. So let's enter and let's see if we are able to fuzz it and find some crash or not. So you can see that okay, we just found one crash over here. I'm getting very slow speed. This is not because I'm using Prini, but because I'm capturing video and I'm running few more things on my system, so that is why it's very slow. Otherwise I was getting a decent speed without that when I'm not capturing video. And I was also able to get some good crashes in short amount of time. So yeah, so it is working and we are able to find some crash over here. And I'm going to cancel AFL first now, or probably let me wait for a few more seconds and see if we can find any more crashes over here or not. Okay, we got one more crash. I'm assuming it will be different from the crash we found previously. So let's go ahead and cancel and see what kind of crashes we are getting now. So first thing we need to do is that we will run our imgread_socket. This will start the server. Server is running over here. I have not given any message in the program, but if you want, you can modify and add some printf that server started waiting for input, something like that. And let's use netcat command again. So and see localhost 31337 and less than, and we have given outsock, right? So outsock and default crashes, and let's see what crash we have got over here. Okay, so the first crash we have received is an integer overflow. It is because of the value which is width and height, it becomes very large value over here. So let's check what does the first crash file contains actually. Outsock default crashes 0. So it contains these bytes, and it means that these 4 bytes are header, this will be width, this will be height, and that is what is causing the crash over here. And now let's see the second crash file and see what crash we are getting over here. We need to again run our file which we have compiled using AFL, that is that will start the server. Basically you can use some threading where it don't terminate after processing single input. That will be helpful. So let's try and see what we are getting now. More or less we are getting a same crash, that is an integer overflow. And anyway, let's use Hexel to see what does this file contains. So contains something different, but basically the crash is same. But anyway, since our intention was just to see how can we fuzz our application which are using sockets using AFL, I think this should suffice. So what you can do now is that you can download this program. You can go to GitHub, you can download, you can compile, and you can fuzz this program. I'm very sure that you will get the same crashes like heap overflow, out of bound, read and write when you fuzz this. So just try replicating all those programs, analyze those crashes, and try to figure out the root cause, and that will help you. Also this was a very simple program, but if you want to fuzz any server, say Nginx or anything else, HTTPD or NC, you can actually use that. There are various tutorials available on the internet. You need to make some changes to those server. You cannot straightforward just use AFL load library and use load preemie and you start fuzzing. Basically those server, right, what they do is that they process each input and they doesn't terminate. So you need to make some changes so that they only process one input, they terminate, and then you can start that. Or basically you can even modify them to use persistent mode. You can use that, but in this case I wanted to keep it very simple, just case. So I hope that you have liked this video, and feel free to ask any questions you might have. Post it on YouTube on the comment section, or you can also reach me out on Twitter. And with that, thank you, and till the next video, stay safe and enjoy, and please don't forget to subscribe, like and share my channel. Thank you.